What are the non-verbal signals projected by a leader that mean that we're willing to follow them? Why do we instinctively buy into some people more than others? Welcome to this latest series of How to Work with Humans. At Threshold, we train business leaders in the art of getting the best out of human beings. And here we explore the standout topics from our recent sessions and the science behind them. At Threshold, we observe that there's one vital parameter that's often underrated, but that makes a massive difference. To illustrate what we're talking about, let us take you back to 1988 and the US presidential election. The candidates were George Bush Sr. and Mike Dukakis, governor of Massachusetts. Dukakis was the Democratic candidate, and he'd been a lifelong opponent of the death penalty. In a crucial presidential debate, the questioner challenges Dukakis. If Kitty Dukakis, Dukakis' wife, were raped and murdered, would he still oppose the death penalty? In his response, Dukakis is calm and measured. Yes, he would. He continues, I've opposed the death penalty all my life. I don't think there is any evidence that it's a deterrent, and there are better and more effective ways to deal with violent crime. He then goes on coolly to expand on these. He's clear, he's evidence-based, and he's entirely consistent in his point of view. Everything we want in a politician, at least we might think we do. The polls showed something different. This was the point at which Dukakis' ratings tanked, and he never recovered. Initial research struggled to uncover why it was this performance that seemed to spell the end for Dukakis. But as focus groups delved deeper, something interesting emerged. Dukakis just didn't seem human enough. Sure, he could muster the detail and marshal the evidence to make his case, but where were the human emotions? The social psychologist from Princeton, Professor Susan Fiske, crunched vast amounts of data to understand what parameters most determine how we feel about someone and whether we see them as someone with whom we would be willing to collaborate. Two parameters emerge more strongly than any others. The first is not a great surprise: competence. If I'm going to trust you enough to go and hunt the woolly mammoth with you, I need to sense that you know what you're doing. But the other parameter is the most interesting: warmth. If you think about it, this makes sense from an evolutionary point of view. If I'm going to trust you enough to go and hunt that woolly mammoth with you, I need to feel sure that you are someone who has a normal suite of functioning human emotions. If I get in trouble, you're going to care enough to get me out of trouble. Fiske argues that warmth is perhaps more important than competence. So how do we dial up the warmth? Well, the short answer is keep it authentic. British Prime Minister Gordon Brown was advised by his spin doctors in the run-up to the 2010 election to smile in order to overcome his dour image. But the smile never suited him and always looked like he was wearing it heavily. And researchers found that people actually preferred his dour image. So what can we do? It needs to be authentic, simple to remember, and something that you can always wear comfortably. When the brilliant American war photographer Robert Capa was asked how he managed to build so much trust so that he could photograph people in such natural and intimate settings, he shared this devastatingly simple piece of advice: like people and let them know it. At Threshold, we'd suggest you can't do much better than that. To find out more about Threshold and how we can help leaders in your organization to get the best out of human beings, go to threshold.co.uk. You can watch the rest of our How to Work with Humans series on our channel. Do share and subscribe.